Welcome to the Rice and Beans podcast, right, where we talk about God-fighting, movies, current event, absolutely everything, and the kitchen sink.
The kitchen sink.
Yep, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I had one installed at the house because I don't have the skills to install a sink because I wasn't raised by homeowners. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I grew up living in apartment buildings.
Yeah, I kind of hate it when people like try to shame me that I don't know how to fix everything, and it's like I didn't have a dad half my life. Yeah. I'm not trying to make excuses, but like everyone's at a certain place, you know.
And 20 years into marriage, my wife is finally realizing that I'm not her dad, that was raised on a farm, you know, and was a carpenter. Yeah, you know. I'm like, listen, I spent the majority of my life trying to master being really cool. I'm sorry I didn't learn real life skills.
Yeah, I think a part of a dad's job is to make sure their kids are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a part of the dad's job? I think
that's a byproduct of it, right? Like if you teach your kids how to do like certain things and be the best that they'll just be cool naturally, right?
Yeah, I mean, in their own arena of life. Yeah. I think dads do want their kids to be cool in the dad's perspective because the child represents them, the dad, and that's why some dads get so upset when their kid doesn't line up with their views of the world.
Oh yeah, we've all seen like angry football dad or soccer dad or whatever.
Goodness, yeah,
and Anyway, I'm your host Eli.
Hey, and I'm Jason.
Yep, and if you're listening in, you can find us at YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Stitcher. We'll be coming to Apple. I believe Apple Podcasts sometime soon. So if you're into that, stay tuned. Same thing with Google Podcasts.
Let's do it.
So hey, today's topics we'll be talking about. What's happening in Cuba. Pretty interesting. Korean boy bands, K-pop. It's interesting.
Yep. A byproduct of communism. Go ahead.
The billionaire space race. UFC 264 recap. And also road to ADCC, which is the Abu Dhabi Combat Club. Was that correct?
Yes.
I know that because he just told me like 30 seconds ago before we started rolling.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, man. So, what is up with Cuba?
Oh, dude, they're.
By the way, half Cuban, half Mexican.
Yeah, Cubexican. Yeah. The George Lopez show, I don't know how they nailed it. But
because she's a Cuban and he's a Mexican.
Yeah. The only thing is like they are like, I don't know. The closest thing I can get to a household like mine was it's very difficult because my dad was not a normal father. He was a surfer and a musician, and he was in the Navy. And he's just an interesting dude all around, right? And my mom was the hot chick, right? But she also was a very hard worker.
Yeah.
Her father was a hard worker, left Cuba when he was a child, you know? And, So we have a dynamic that I was raised in that was nothing like George Lopez show, but was more like a show called Que Pasa USA. And with the grandma living in the house. Yeah, but my dad was kind of like not there all the time. No offense, Dad. But he was doing him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm half Cuban, half Mexican. Like the George Lopez
There's
show.
always a story to explain like simple things, you know what I mean?
I have diarrhea of the mouth. I can't shut up. I'm sorry.
It's good. Awesome. So yeah,
Cuba, small island, 90 miles off the coast of South Florida, Miami. Yeah, yeah, dude, the people are done, man.
Yeah,
they are done, and for good reason because communism sucks. Yeah, and they get rations of food, and they have no medicine. Yeah, they're dying. The people are dying. Yeah, and you know. COVID broke out everywhere, and it's also in Cuba, right? Yeah. And communism, they're connected to China. I don't want to be that guy, but, dude, it's happening, man. It's happening. They also opened up to tourism after Fidel moved on. and his brother Raul took over, it was just like a lot of tourism increase, but no economy increase for the people, right?
Yeah.
Tourists live like they're in luxury, and the people live in poverty, terrible poverty.
Yeah.
Third world country, if not lower.
Yeah.
They keep them under their thumb.
Well, yeah. So, let's just talk, just in case any viewers listening who doesn't know, like what are the main differences between communism and capitalism, like that you could think of right now?
Well, there's a dictator that comes to my mind. There's a dictator, and then the government. So you take everything that you have, the government takes it, and then they give you what they feel is right for you.
Yeah.
So everybody gets the same treatment. So it kind of sounds like, hey, we're like a team working together, and but that's never how it works.
Of course.
Ever.
Yeah.
And so people, when communism took place there, people lost their lands. Say there's sugarcane farmers lost their lands, everything.
Yeah.
Government took everything. Government now owns your home, your house, your land, everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Capitalism, at least to me, I heard a lot of people say like it's a system based off of greed, but like something you could always bet on is people being greedy, right?
For sure. It's the sinful nature.
And the thing is, it's like if it is, which I believe it is, that, believe it or not, promotes growth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In its own way.
It does. It does promote growth.
Yeah.
It promotes growth from a number. Say if it's a garden, if your life is a garden, right? Whatever, and everything has an opportunity to grow in the soil, including weeds, including vegetables and fruit-bearing plants, right? So, like, in a world like capitalism, everybody has the opportunity, whether they be weeds or whether they be producing fruit and vegetables.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Everybody has an opportunity to grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, everybody also has an opportunity to not grow and fail. And
yeah,
I think with that, so with that, there's always going to be people. Jesus said, "You'll always have the poor." Right? And this is true. You're always going to have the poor, and the Bible teaches to be benevolent and to give. Right? And I think it is. It's weird. I think it is a good idea. You should take care of people that can't take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Widows and orphans. The Bible is very direct on taking care of widows and orphans.
Yeah.
And handicap in general, just people that cannot take care of themselves. If us as humans in the sinful nature probably don't think about taking care of the less fortunate, right?
Yeah.
Unless you've somehow encountered the less fortunate, right? So you have this sympathy towards them. Not so much empathy, but also empathy. Like you can empathize with the handicapped or the less fortunate because you were around it, you grew up in it, maybe you're handicapped yourself, you have a mom, sister, brother, or somebody. But like usually people are not thinking, hey, you know what? I'm going to go out and be a missionary, or I'm going to go out and just dedicate my life like Audrey Hepburn to feeding, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like in my head, I don't really see like, when the government gives out money to, to help these people, that people for like homeless infrastructure and stuff like that. I don't really see that as communism. You know what I mean? Because it's not like the government is like owning your house. It's not like they're taking everything from you.
Yeah.
It's taxes suck, but I understand why they're there.
Yeah.
I definitely think they're too high, but like what are we gonna do about it? Like we can't like just rewrite the entire infrastructure of the government.
America I think America is a striving country, and our strength is that we're constantly pressing to be better. No matter who you are, on what political stance you take, we're always going to be striving to be better, right? That's like our thing. We want to be the best, even when we're not. We're like, oh, we can do better. you know, whether we could be better at being evil or we could be better at being good. We could be
it's
better.
a very competitive nation.
It's a competitive nation, dude.
And it's funny is like, because, other countries make fun of us for being fat, yet we usually take gold in the Olympics, right? We're always placing, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a little ironic,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, you're correct. It's a competitive nation. I think, but with communism, they do take gold in Olympic sports also, but they
different reasons maybe.
Yeah, they'll take a child, and it's like your job now is you're an athlete.
What's the name of that tall basketball guy from China? Is he from China?
Ming?
Right, and he's just like, he is so tall. He's like one of the tallest guys there.
Definitely made in a lab.
I was just gonna say, didn't you or someone tell me they took the tallest male and female basketball players they had and had them mate, and they're like, your son will bring glory to our nation.
Well, here's the thing: is there's China was the first to use CRISPR Cas9 to make a human.
I forgot all about that.
Who knows what else they're genetically designing under the radar?
Oh my!
They're kind of like, what are you gonna do?
Oh, dude!
Are you're gonna slap us on the wrist?
This is another reason not to go to war with them. They already have like super mutants, right? Ready to go. They're ready.
It's gonna happen, man. I mean, once those the end times, we could get into the end times if you want. But China has their part. I think in the end,
none of this is on the list. But I mean, if we go there, we go there. You know what I mean?
The end time. I mean, it seems really close. Every nation's going to turn against Israel, and it looks like Israel's setting it up to be hated by the world.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
They're driving people out, and it's exciting to watch. It's a movie.
Yeah.
I feel like everything happening right now in the world, including K-pop, is an action movie.
All right. Well, now you mentioned K-pop. Let's just go right
Let's
into
jump
it.
right
all right?
into it.
Yeah, from end times to K-pop.
Well, from Cuba. So Cuba, real quick before we get into Korea, is suffering, man. The people are rising up and speaking out. There's I don't know if you know what it is. It's called medical slavery. And it's because Cuba puts out doctors, and their claim to fame is they have the best medical schools, universities, and they give free medical to other surrounding Caribbean countries, to learn. Like Jamaica will send their students there to learn how to become doctors, and then Cuba takes their country's own people and pretty much pimps them out to other countries. And they go out there and they'll charge these countries hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to use Cuban doctors, and the doctors don't make not even 0.02% of that.
What? Their doctors don't?
No, the doctor will make the same amount of money as a store clerk, or a taxi cab driver. In fact, the taxi cab driver, from what I hear, gets tips. And they make more money than a doctor.
Oh, no, dude.
I watched a documentary where there was a doctor that lived in a small apartment, and he was raising a pig on his balcony. And then he was going to take that pig and sell it, under the table because they don't make money. Dude. They have the brightest, biggest intellectual minds for medicine.
That almost makes me like them more because it's just they're doing it for, I'm guessing, the right reasons, but they're not making money. You know what I mean? It's then why are you doing this? You know what I mean? And it's
because they're slaves.
Okay, but it makes you think maybe it's also something like bringing pride to the family. They maybe grew up in a poor Cuban family, and then they're like, I want my son to be a doctor. And,
no, it's not like that.
Not like that.
No, the country picks you and tells you what you're going to be.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Communism, folks.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay, it's disgusting. It's outrageous, and people are dying, starving. Mm-hmm. Their own people don't get the same medicine that they sell to the world. It's ridiculous, man. It's stupid. Yeah. It's a stupid idea. People risk their lives trying to get out of that country.
Yeah,
they risk their lives. Families will send their children in hopes for them to get to America. to have a future.
And I always find that like really interesting how it's like if you go to America, a lot of the Latins are like they're like democratic and they're pro-communism, right? But the ones from Cuba are like, nah, no, they're not about it. They know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the thing is like the idea, both sides of the wings of government have good and bad,
of course,
because it's a human institution that's rooted in the heart of man, which is wickedly deceitful and evil and out for its own gain. I don't care what anybody says. Every person is out for their own gain, and they'll look for corners to cut and stuff to get done just so they can get their own gain. And they'll sometimes will put it under the guise of like, I'm helping people. Yeah,
right.
Whatever. So I think other countries that come here looking for a better life, and they know that our government, even if you're homeless in America, you're already richer than like 70%. I don't know if this is correct at all. I'm just throwing this number out there.
Yeah,
but you're richer than most of the world.
Yeah, we've all heard that. Yeah, that statistic.
They can just go to any place and get food. A food bank or some kind of institution.
Even back to Cuba, I saw this video of like a guy who's like from Cuba, and he goes into an American grocery store for the first time, and he's just like shocked that it's full of food.
Right.
Right. He was just completely like his mind was blown.
You know what they have on their shelves the most of?
What?
Rum. They want their people drunk.
Wow.
And rum is cheaper than like a loaf of bread.
What?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wild.
Oh yeah. Really.
Yeah. The people live in sorrows. It's just like anywhere in the world where there's poverty, you're going to see an outrageous amount of liquor stores. Yeah. Alcohol just to numb their mind and keep them. That's their coping mechanism, right? And then an overabundance of drugs. It's like, is this by coincidence? No, man. It's a strategy of the devil to keep people in bondage from succeeding. Yeah. Nevertheless, people are raising up because they hate that life. And the Cuban people are protesting. And it's like the first time they protested in a long time. Yeah. Yeah. And since the 60s, communism has been reigning, right? Supreme in Cuba. And it started out as like saving the people, which the guy before Batista was just like, he wasn't a good guy either. Yeah. Right. And there was also slavery there. Right. And so it's been a growing, developing country, to say the least. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
As all countries are. I mean, look, just not too long ago, America it's still going through it. We're still struggling with it. It wasn't too long. It's like in my mom's life, like segregation, right? And, and this is not very long ago. Yeah. And the civil rights movement and all that. These evil abounds in the earth and has forever. And people need Jesus. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it really does.
And they don't need Jesus to get their own gain, right? This isn't like the Crusades. We're not we're not like England or
even the Crusades, man. Like you could make a really good argument that they weren't even Christians to begin with, just slapping the name of God on whatever agenda they have.
Yeah. Even Constantine putting a cross on his shield and claiming Christianity. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember.
Rome?
Don't remember that part.
No, this is not the Crusades. This is like before that. This is Rome. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
People using the name of God for their own gain.
Pretty much. And
that's taking the name of the God in vain.
Yeah, and when I talk with people about Christianity, like you hear a lot, like I hear a lot when they're like, "Oh, what about the Crusades?" And it's like, what about the Crusades, you know?
What about the Crusades?
I mean, just because, like, if you read the Bible, it tells you clearly what a Christian is.
Yeah.
And if someone doesn't act like that description, they're not a Christian.
Yeah.
It's that simple. They're lying to you.
Yeah.
So then it's like all those... So Christians didn't do that.
Yeah.
They didn't have Christ in their heart in order to do something like that.
Yes.
But even with that, like, historically speaking, I mean, like... I haven't researched this super thoroughly, but from what I understand, like the Crusades were a response. Those are actually the second Crusades, response to another crusade of like the Islamists just attacking everyone, and then everyone's like, we need help, and then the Crusades that we know, the Christians started, and the whole war and taking over, all that stuff, and it's very,
and the Bible
very
covers
political.
what war is.
Yeah.
And it's like, why do you have wars? It's because of your own evil desires in your heart.
Yeah.
Somebody wants something that somebody else has, and they're going to steal it from them or take it from them by force.
Yeah.
And then that person's going to defend them. They're going to start recruiting other people to come to their aid.
Yeah, and it's like people are blaming God for what happened in the Crusades, and it's just like, you didn't tell them to do that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If someone starts shooting people and says, Jimmy made me do it, is Jimmy responsible?
Right.
You didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
You know
If you
what I
want to
mean?
know what it is to be a Christian, read the Bible. And the book of Acts shows you Christian lives.
Yeah.
These are men and women laying down their life for others. The first martyr, Stephen, is stoned to death. And you know what he says? He wasn't like stoned to death. He was killed with rocks, large rocks, hundreds of them.
Oh, man.
And what does he say? He says, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. That's a real Christian. And it goes on.
Yeah.
James was killed by a sword.
Oh, man.
You know?
And his brother is John, right? He wrote 4 books of the Bible.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, this Hollywood mentality makes you think, like, he'd be like John Wick, like, I gotta kill them all. But instead, he forgave them.
Yeah.
He did.
He's the total opposite of what every Christian or every person thinks. Like, we have to defend our land. This is not our land.
Yeah.
God owns the earth.
He does, right? And then you're going to be dust one day, right?
Yes.
And what would all that fighting accomplish?
Nothing.
You know what I mean?
Nothing.
Yeah. At the end of the day, man.
Okay, so there was a really cool verse that one of my very first pastors in Miami, Pastor Richard Sejour, what's up? He posted of Peter, and he was saying, First Peter's saying, give glory to God and honor the king, right? And it's like, wherever you live, yes, honor the rules and the government rules, right?
Yeah.
Don't be a rule breaker. Honor your laws, honor all of that to the best of your ability, And if you are against like tyranny, you can speak out against it, As a Christian, it's good to speak out against that type of stuff.
I think the principle is to live peaceably, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you're against it, it's like, don't go crazy, you know what I mean? Just just use your words.
Use your words, yeah, right? The Bible says, strive to live at peace with all men. All men. Strive to live at peace with all men, with everybody. Yeah, that's a difficult thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
I'm speaking for myself. You want to defend yourself. You're like, it's just a natural response.
Yeah, and I feel weird. Like, I'm not sure where the line is, but like, obviously, like, I believe like you should defend yourself, and you should also make peace. But where the line is between that, I'm not sure. I think we all just have to figure that out.
You walk away from evil. I know. For me, when something's gonna go wrong, right? Or awry. Like evil is at the doorstep, right? And somebody's arguments or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever it is,
yeah.
You can walk away.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can shut your mouth.
Yeah, like there's some people who I would talk with for about 5 seconds, and I kind of already know where it's going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've noticed that about you. You'll just like, and let their leaky faucet just drip, until whatever it is they have to say runs out, and then you're like, okay, and then you just walk away. Yeah.
You actually saw me do that before?
No, well, you've done it with me. So like but I mean like I have recently just started like practicing this skill of shutting up, you know, and not arguing points, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, honestly, so you're going to hear me talk a lot about my sister on this podcast. I love you so much. You know I love you. I really do. But that's how I learned how to do that. You know what I mean? Just because, like, we would argue, and it was just the most vicious, toxic argument. This was before the internet. It was like the internet, before the internet, us arguing, right?
Wow.
And then,
But y'all were face to face.
we were face to face,
Yeah.
and it was malicious, and we would attack each other.
Because
And
your siblings.
yeah,
Yeah.
and pretty much, I think that's what taught me, like, because when we weren't arguing, I'm like, this is so peaceful, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I wanted peace.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to compromise, shut up, and just let them win, even
Yeah.
when I don't think they deserve to win.
Yeah.
Just let them win. You know what I mean? Peace is more important than being right sometimes.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
when it comes to like personal relationships, I'm not referring to things like government tyranny and stuff like that, but like, you know, if your sister and you are arguing, just make
Yeah.
up, man.
Or
You know what I
also,
mean?
also interdenominational arguments.
Oh, I hate those.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate those,
Like,
man.
I-
it's so stupid.
It is
Th-
super
th-
stupid.
They're arguing about things that don't pertain to salvation. That's what it's really dumb
Man,
about
that is
it.
good, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like when it comes to salvation, yeah, you fight for that. But everything else, I mean, what are you arguing about? Why
Right,
aren't
and
we?
the Bible's pretty specific about those things. So like, I have friends that so all right, we'll probably ruin our podcast, but we are Pentecostal, charismatic, Holy Ghost believers, right? We believe in the things of the Spirit, gifts of the Spirit, right?
We are, yeah, 100%. And I think we just need to make it clear though, like pretty much like Pentecostal, like that whole movement and whatnot. If you read the Bible, we just believe what the Bible says verbatimly, right? So then the book of Acts, you know, Acts chapter 2, chapter 4, chapter 19, when it comes to laying on the hands,
Right,
speaking in tongues, this is biblical principles, right?
Right.
So that's what we believe, because
Yeah.
sometimes when you say the word charismatic, people think you're just kind of like out there and goofy and you're just like kind of flaky.
Yeah, like
And
barking and mooing like a cow inside a church.
Yeah, that stuff. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, gold dust. And it's just like...
Yeah, Gold Dust was a wrestler, wasn't he?
It sounds like he could be. Like, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it's... Yeah, we're not about that, man. If it's in the Bible and it's a biblical principle,
Yes.
100% about it. So that's just
Definitely.
that's just really what it is, man. That's
Yeah.
really what it is.
Yeah.
And we're not ashamed about the speaking in tongues, you know, the power of the Holy Ghost. It's very real. And the thing is, I've pretty much been touched and changed so much by the power of God and the Holy Ghost. You can't convince me otherwise. Like, there's these seminaries who are like trying to convince you that, like, you know, the power of God left after the last disciple died or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's too late for me, guys. I already know. I
Yeah.
already know, right?
Yeah.
You can't convince me about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I'll have friends that don't believe in the gifts of the Spirit or those things, or they'll say if God wants to do it, He'll do it, type of thing.
Oh,
But they're not, and right, they come out right out just trying to poke at me, you know, get a rise out of me, because that's what they do to other Pentecostals, and they'll come out there and they'll start poking at me for these things, you know, and bringing up conversations like that, and right out the gate, I'm just like, okay. You know, and I'm like,
what would they say though?
oh, hey, could I get, like, jokingly, could you pray for me in tongues? Or they'll come out, do you have an interpreter every time you pray in tongues?
Yeah.
And this and that. And it's almost like they didn't read the whole chapter, or they don't even know the context of the book of Corinthians.
That's exactly what it sounds like. You know what I mean? And it almost sounds like when atheists try to heckle you. You know what I mean? And they say things that are just not accurate or half truths and whatnot. And like, I have a friend who, he doesn't heckle me, but every time we do talk about it, right, and he's an atheist, I would just go all factual on him. And it was a good conversation because he's, like, willing to listen and willing to learn.
Yeah.
But as far as the hecklers, like, the book of Proverbs, man, amazing book. Like, everyone should read it. Yeah. Like, if you read, because there's 31 chapters, so you could read a chapter every day and just get that wisdom year round, right? Yeah. And, it talks about the fool. And the fool is pretty much the heckler, right? Yeah. It's pretty much the troll. That's what it is. And the Bible doesn't say one good thing about the fool.
Yeah.
And I think my life's mission as a child is not to be that guy. You know,
Yeah.
I'm still trying
quote,
to not be that guy.
Yeah, I quote Proverbs a lot and the fool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I work in behavioral health, and so like I work with teenagers that are troubled, and so like they have a hard time learning lessons, right?
Yeah.
And I'll say, you could beat a fool to death, and they still won't learn their lesson.
Yeah.
Like you could,
dude.
Some people they don't know where their bottom is.
Yeah.
They don't know where to reach their bottom of the barrel. And until they're reaching up to touch the bottom, like it takes them a while to learn a life lesson.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. And it even talks about how like a fool can't learn from a wise person, but even a wise person can learn from a fool.
Yeah.
And that's amazing because, like, what does a fool have to teach? Practically nothing, but a wise person is so committed to learning that he could even figure something out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's just they're just what I think
they just love knowledge,
And also, like, from what I understand, a wise person is a person that's honest with themselves and their mistakes, and is willing to grow.
Absolutely.
Let's move on.
Yeah, we've definitely been on this for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So K-pop, dude.
K-pop. Okay, so I work with teenagers.
Yeah.
And one of them loves, or they're always mentioning K-pop.
What's the obsession with these pretty Korean boys, man? Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, so I had to listen to it.
Okay.
And it was BTS.
I don't know what it's called, but like
it sounds like a basketball video game. BTS.
It does. It really does.
Is it BTS?
What, the basketball game?
No, I mean like the Korean.
Oh, no, dude. I have no idea what it's called. Like I always called it K-pop. I thought that's what it was.
There's an actual band.
Specific band.
Yeah.
It probably because like here's the thing, man. You could only come up with so many names. There's at least 1 million Korean boy bands out there. They got to get creative with these names. They're like BTS.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There is a wrestling tournament in New York called BTS Beat the Streets, and it's a fundraiser
the streets.
Yeah, and they do a wrestling tournament on. they do it on the street or on the roof of a skyscraper.
Oh man,
it's really cool, and it's a fundraiser for kids in poor neighborhoods.
That just sounds like almost like those fight night games. Like, don't you fight?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, like just like everywhere.
Henry Cejudo wrestled. I mean, the best of the best all in the world. Yeah. Usually wrestle at Beat the Streets, and it's a fundraiser for kids that can't afford wrestling.
Dude,
wrestling is a poor kid's sport. I'm going to be honest. It's a singlet and shoes. That's it. But like, I'd say the most expensive part is traveling.
Yeah.
If you want to be great, you got to travel. Right. But like, they raise money for kids in like Harlem or other areas. Like Brooklyn's no longer a poor place; it's now like a yuppie hipster place now.
Oh, geez.
But yeah, I don't know. But like, they're raising money for people to wrestle, for kids to wrestle, beat the streets.
Yeah, that's cool. It just makes me think of like the PS2 days. They have like a street version of every like actual like sport pretty much. They have like street soccer, street baseball, street basketball, street football.
Yeah.
Street wrestling would be pretty cool if they ever like managed to make wrestling like a pretty good video game, you know what I mean? Just like straight up collegiate wrestling. I'm not sure how that would actually do financially, but anyway, K-pop. K-pop.
K-pop, so BTS.
Dude.
And
so
they are very well dressed.
Dude, I was watching just like a little bit of it like before, and they've like perfected the art of the boy band. Like I don't remember our boy bands ever being like this crisp, you know what I mean? Like for one thing, I'll be honest, forgive me if I'm a racist, but they kind of look the same, you know what I mean? And
don't worry, we look the same to them too.
All right,
yeah,
then it's all good. We're all just a bunch of racists here. But in my defense, they like dress the same kind of, and they have like the same kind of haircut, and like their skin is like the same, and it's just like it's all like
what I've noticed. Okay,
you know what I mean?
So remember Backstreet Boys, NSYNC.
okay,
98 Degrees.
they try to differentiate.
Why do I know so much about these bands?
I know all of them too,
okay.
right? Yeah, because
Yeah.
like they had the guy with like the frosted tips, right? Then they had the
Yes.
guy with the glasses and the goatee,
Yeah.
and then they had the guy with the bandana,
The gangster.
and
And
then-
they had a
yeah.
they had a template that they stuck to.
Yeah, and there's a guy who was always shirtless. Like they have their own thing. These guys, they're all swappable, right?
They are. They're interchangeable,
Uh-huh.
and they all, which makes me think. So they've taken the best of American pop music, even from Motown all the way to, the Jackson 5, which is
Yeah.
Motown also, but to NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, and kind of like perfected their choreography.
Oh yeah,
Their dress code,
dude. Yeah.
and their music style.
Oh yeah.
Because they're singing like R&B, like
Oh,
their vocals are like soulful,
Dude.
right?
Yeah, so like they're hitting out of the park in all those areas, and icing on the cake, man. Their video work, like whoever they hired for their video, they're very masterful. Like they're extremely good, man. Like I'm very much into like videos, movies, like camera work, camera angles and stuff. And yeah, dude, they've pretty much have it perfected. There's no other word for it. It's pretty much perfected.
That looks like a lot of work.
It's a stupid amount of work, planning, storyboarding, and it's obviously paid off because it looks phenomenal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really does. And yeah, at least with like our music videos, like and again, I'm always going back to the '90s. I know we have modern boy bands in like One Direction and
I
everyone
go
else.
even farther back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, then like the '90s. He does. He does.
So like in the 80s we had New Edition, which I already shared with you.
Yeah.
New Edition, which was awesome, which was Bobby Brown, Ralph Tresvant, and Belle Biv DeVoe. So I know you don't know who any of those are.
Correct.
Yeah. So they were like breakout R&B artists, and then which set the standard for other music.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, dude.
Yeah. No.
Dude, black
it seems
people
like
make great music. They make
Oh, yeah.
probably the best music.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, man.
They're good at what they do. They're
Phenomenal.
musical people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and then now these Koreans, man, are just knocking it out of the park with their music. I mean, like as far as popularity and stuff.
I think what they did, they broke down scientifically like what
Yeah.
they needed to do to get a presentation.
Now, what blows my mind is that there's at least 1 million of them, and they're somehow all viable. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like they're obviously competing against each other, but how do they all exist in the same space? You know what I mean?
Okay, I'm going to tell you, it's karaoke. Karaoke is so huge
What?
in the Asian culture.
Uh-huh.
They have like, how you remember payphones?
Yeah.
Okay, so they have like
Not that young.
Okay, so like payphones
Yeah.
were like everywhere. They have like karaoke stands where people can go up and it's like therapy.
What? Like in the middle of the street?
Yeah, well, on the sidewalk.
Okay.
And so,
So you can like go up, put a
It's like-
quarter in, and just start singing karaoke to
Karaoke.
strangers walking by.
or they're just karaoke, and I guess strangers can
Dude.
work. Yeah,
Dude, I
have
think
a-
that's cool, man.
of course, it's cool. It's
Yo.
entertaining.
It
I'd sit there and
is.
watch somebody just sing, whether how good or bad they are.
Yeah.
It's therapy,
That
man.
sounds
They're like
awesome.
singing and getting the day done.
Dude, I like
with
that,
them-
man.
Yeah,
You get
So-
one of these over here.
I'm sure they might have them somewhere. They have like karaoke at bars.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, people go to bars and they're just like getting it, letting it go for the day. It's Friday. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
And I had a friend, Lolita. She's from the Philippines, and she had a microphone that had in it a chip that had like, I don't know, it was like 100,000 songs.
Oh, wow.
And all she had to do was plug in her phone into a TV or whatever. I mean, her phone, her microphone, and she could sing along to whatever songs she wanted to, and she
Wow.
would go home and sing karaoke on her own. It was
Wow.
like, and that was like her. That was like her thing. It was like,
Dude.
like some people go to the gym after work
Wow.
and lift weights and get their energy out. She would go home
Dude.
and do karaoke.
Now, I think that's awesome because I never thought about it, but it's like, yeah, there's definitely a group of people who are just, they're karaoke people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what
Yeah.
they do, and they
Yeah.
love it, and I just think that's so cool. I mean, one of the great things about YouTube and the internet is that it exposes everyone to what everyone's into. and it's just so vast.
Yeah.
And it's very impressive. Not
Yeah.
all of it, but most of it.
Dude, I mean,
very,
it's
very,
the
very
world.
impressive.
Yeah, so I think the Asian culture really like embraced singing.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it's like if you look up videos, they don't even know English, but they'll sing like songs in English. They don't even know what they're singing, and the words kind of sound like the song.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're singing like it doesn't. It sounds weird, but
Yeah.
like Ken Lee. Ken Lee, if living is without you, I can't live, but it was Ken Lee. I can't live. Yeah, you know that song? And I saw my wife showed me this video. My wife showed me this video of this lady singing Ken Lee. And I was like, we laughed, but she was singing. She was singing karaoke, man. And a lot of good music, if not the best music, comes out of America.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it's impressive. And it's like, we have it's always interesting. Like, we call them weebs, like Americans who are obsessed with like Asian culture, right?
Oh.
Typically refer to Japanese, but I feel like it applies to Korea also, right?
Yeah.
And there's these girls who are just like, they lose their mind over K-pop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like completely. And honestly, maybe it's fair. I'm not sure if it's fair to say just yet, but I think they just monopolized the whole like pretty boy market.
Oh, well, there's some kind of science there, because there was like Donny Osmond, who was like the Osmonds, and they were like a boy band kind of, and the Jackson 5, and the Beatles.
Okay, yeah.
The Beatles, Beatlemania, all the same
yeah.
thing. Girls like passing out. Okay. Elvis.
Yeah, so like all of that's so true, and I mean America still has some today, but 100%, man. They just like they took over the market.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
They completely did, and it's just wild, man. It really is.
Yeah, I think they took some kind of algorithm that is present in boy bands.
Yeah,
and they applied it. And look, like it obviously they can interchange each one of them. They all got. It looks like they're all got. They look the same. Their makeup, hair.
And there's some girl watching this who's gonna be like, "No, they're all different and unique," and she knows them every single one by name.
Of
but
course,
it's just like
you can write in their characters, dude. We could get a D20 dice and roll in there like we're building characters for D&D, but we're building pop boy band.
Let's just look at them and let's just see like what's what. Like this one's got like 7 people in that band. That's like a lot.
Okay,
like,
so that's BTS.
Isn't it usually 4 or 5? Or
I don't know what the number is. I didn't know there was a cutoff. But
there is.
What's interesting about this picture is
the American ones. There's like 3 to 5. That's it. You don't
that's
get
all
one
they
more.
Can handle. Yeah, that's all that Americans can handle. Yeah. And so Israel to just be 12. Okay. All right. So you can see they're holding up their numbers like they're getting their
like prison, right?
Their photo like they're getting booked. What is that called?
It's like the prison lineup, right?
Like they're
there's like
they're getting arrested
behind them.
So instead of one being the bad boy, they're all the bad boys.
Oh, jeez.
You see what I'm saying? Like right here, instead of one being the classy one, they're all wearing looks like fancy suits.
That might be smarter. So then, like the bands are the archetypes, right? So there's the bad boy band, and there's the gentleman band,
look,
and then there's the cool guy band.
But this is the same band. These are the same guys.
Yeah,
and look right here. Here's the hip hop one. Like, okay, see. He's got a backwards Kango hat.
Okay.
What does he know about Grandmaster Flash sporting the Kango hat?
Probably not much.
Nothing, unless he's watched documentaries, right?
Well, okay, so then like you're telling me like so like if they're to decide, we're gonna do like a hip hop music thing, they get the hip hop guy to lead on that one. Is that what you're saying? And if they're doing like a ballad, they get like the romantic guy to lead on that one. Is that it?
No, I say that would be
like us.
Yeah. But for them, they all encompass that archetype.
Yeah.
They all become the hip hop guy. They all become the R&B guy.
Yeah.
They all become the bad boy guy.
That might be smarter.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're like one person cloned.
They're.
I'm telling you, cloning is for real,
dude.
And it is happening.
Okay, but they're not actually cloned though, right?
I don't know. I can't answer that question. I just found out I just saw their music. And I'm assuming so much. And assuming is so bad.
After our
I'm
conversation,
a horrible person for assuming so much and judging them so much.
But after our conversation about China and like Casper Cat like 9, right?
Crispr,
right? It's just like maybe they are. You don't know, man.
No, you don't.
Because like honestly, because perfect voice. Right, they sound great, perfect choreography. There's millions of them. How on earth so many people could have that skill and talent?
This is what needs to happen. The Latin community needs to bring back Menudo. Are you familiar with them? Not the soup.
I'm familiar with the soup, but not the band.
So you know who Ricky Martin is?
Yeah, man.
He was one of the Menudo members.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm already cautious about it.
Why, man?
Dude.
Ricky Martin. Boom. Look at that.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. The first one featuring Ricky Martin.
Oh, man.
1984.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, what do you know about that?
Nothing, and I'm very glad about it. They look like...
Oh, my gosh.
No, dude, this looks like a mistake.
It was not a mistake.
I'm looking at it, and I'm telling you, I don't like it. And just uncomfortable looking at. For one thing, the first image up there, they look like discount Power Rangers, right? The first one, don't they? They all have their primary color with like a little gold on it.
Yeah.
And it's like all they need is like karate, and then
it's 1984.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything was kind of shiny. If you were gonna be a star, it was like the 80s. I know 8 comes after 7, so the 80s are coming out of the 70s, and what was birthed in the 70s was disco. So
gotcha.
And then in 77 hip hop and all this stuff is coming out. So disco was really sparkly and shiny. So that's what you're getting right there. It's sparkly, shiny, disco post disco era apparel.
Yeah. Well, okay, so like let's say we're a nation and we're like we want to compete against the K-pop guys. Like what do we do to like rival them? With our boy band.
With our boy band? Oh,
yeah.
So we're going to have to dig up the greats.
The greats.
The greats.
Who are they?
Okay, it's going to be... So the Beatles are not from America.
Yeah.
They're British. They're, you know. But we need to take them in their creativity of music style, right?
Okay.
And I think we also need to go into America is rock and roll.
Okay.
And then we need to steal put together whatever that spirit that was upon rock and roll.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
And there was like this kind of like edgy sexiness, right? And that drove, like there's Van Halen and all this other stuff. And then we gotta take into account the R&B bands, and the doo-wop bands, so like the Temptations.
Like, do you think we could really combine all of those, or are we just gonna like do specific niches?
I have no idea, man. You have to like throw it into a jumbler, and see what comes out, man. It's almost like it's genetics, man. We're messing with genetics, and you're gonna get recessive genes that pop up here and there, and it's like these are the children of American pop music.
Well, yeah, honestly, because it's like I know they're not American either, but One Direction is like the closest thing that could like compete with them, right? And it's just like that seems like the best the West
currently?
Yeah, that seems like the best the West could possibly do, right? And I don't think they're as big as these K-pop guys.
Yeah,
you know
America's lost their skill. Like we no longer have a heavyweight champion, I don't think. For boxing?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
because Wilder lost, and then it's just UK, man.
Yeah, it's like we've lost our step in a lot of areas. Boyband, we've lost our step in education. We've lost our step. America's falling behind in the things that matter.
Yeah, and in the UFC, there's just like I think there's only 2 American champions, maybe 3.
Dude, Africa is killing it.
Dude, with 3, man.
Yeah.
And all of those champions are incredibly dominant, right? It's hard to see any of them losing.
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
especially Usman, especially Ngannou, right? And if it weren't
No.
for Whitaker,
Adesanya
Adesanya's
is-
not losing,
Yeah.
right? If it's not for Whitaker, he's not going to lose, man. It's just
No.
not happening.
No, his
Right.
arms are like swords.
Yeah, and even
he is so precise, like
yeah,
arrows. Like
and
he's like,
dude,
bah, bah, bah.
I can't wait for that fight. But
Yeah.
I mean, I could talk forever about it. But anyway,
Yeah.
going on though. Yeah, dude, America's lagging a little bit, man.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
little disturbing.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay. Let me think. Who is the American champ though? So then we have like from heavyweight Africa.
Heavyweight's the only
Poland.
thing that matters in boxing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a boxing fan, though, you're going to look at all the weights, right?
Yeah.
Like if you love boxing.
Uh-huh.
But if you back in the day, it was only about the heavyweight. It was like Muhammad Ali,
Dude.
Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield. It was only about
Uh-huh.
the heavyweight.
So I'm thinking right now, I don't think yeah, dude. I don't think we have an American champion in the UFC.
No, man.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. There's
mean,
not
there's-
an American champion
yeah.
in the UFC.
I mean, and then,
oh no, Rose Namajunas. Thanks, Rose, holding it down.
and then yeah, but she's like, her last fight, she won for her country. Where was her?
Scandinavia somewhere?
No, dude, it was like something that came out of communism. Oh man, look it up.
Oh yeah, because she was fighting against communism for that win. She's
Yeah.
like, I will destroy communism with this head kick. Right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So look that up. Yeah, so she was like, she's up there. She's wow. What a person.
Uh-huh.
What a person. First off, she's like every.
It
every
says
face-
Milwaukee.
the great country of Milwaukee,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, Lithuania?
Lithuania. That's what
Yeah.
it was. And there was a song or something or a movie about Lithuanian basketball team or something. Look it up, and that was what inspired her.
A song about
A song or a movie, I forgot what it was, but she was inspired by this to dedicate her last fight to fighting communism.
Okay, it's called Tries Milijonai, and is a Lithuanian song by a journalist, TV talk show host, and singer, popularly regarded in Lithuania as a sports anthem and an unofficial Lithuania Olympic team anthem. So
Is that what it was?
I'm guessing it
Rose,
is.
okay. She said, I don't even want to get into it, but like
yeah. Thug Rose, man.
Doug Rose.
Thug Rose. Holding
She's
it down,
good.
man. She's really good.
I love her.
Dude, she's
Everything
awesome.
about her. She's a person that is
Yeah.
that stands up for what she believes in
She does.
wholeheartedly, and she's
Yeah.
not. It's like, man,
Yeah,
she's
man.
so honest with herself.
I think that's my favorite part about her. She's
Yeah.
just completely honest, and she's just very vulnerable with herself, and she's
Yeah.
not scared of it.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, man, it's 100%
Dude,
respect.
she talks about everything, like all her emotions. I'm scared. I'm this and that. But she demonstrates so much courage by like standing in the face of like
Dude.
everything.
Yeah, I hope people don't forget how terrifying Joanna is, man.
Yeah.
Like, if she never fought Rose, she might still be the champion winning today. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, talking people down.
Pretty much being a bit of a bully, but
Yeah.
being incredibly dominant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird how. So I don't know where we are on the list, but I want to move on.
Oh, yeah.
To
Okay.
ADCC, road to ADCC.
All right, let's get it, man.
Because you jumped right into MMA, or maybe I did.
Well, we kind of slipped that in there a little bit, but yeah, road ADCC, man.
Yeah, and it makes me think the differences in people and why they compete and how they compete.
Dude,
And-
I think that's what makes sports interesting. You know what I mean? The story behind it. Because if it's just a guy kicking a ball and the whole thing was who could kick the ball the farthest, it's like, who
Right.
cares? Right? But then when it's just like, my dying uncle told me, right? And then they just go into a ridiculous backstory. You're like, yeah, you kicked that ball, right?
Right. And then
That's
there's
what it
another
is.
guy. He's like, I hate that guy and his uncle, and I have to kick farther than him. He's not my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sports and anime and all of that stuff.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's like there's
Movies
always
and-
some kind of like weird inner turmoil,
Right.
You know, and then the other person
or the simplest stuff. Right?
yeah, who can throw a rock the farthest? It's like little
Right.
kids. It's like, no, I threw the rock the farthest. No, I did.
It's like, maybe if I throw this rock further, I'll be worth something, right? Yeah. And it's like their self-worth is tied to the rock.
Oh, my gosh. Yes. In everything. You know what? When I was a kid, so I'm not a gamer today, but I played in arcades.
Yeah.
And there was a movie, and I know you haven't watched it yet, but you need to.
You keep telling me about it.
The Last Starfighter.
Yep.
And it's this kid that plays this arcade video game every day in his small little podunk town in like New Mexico, desert, Arizona. I don't know what it is. And there's like a population of 20. And like all he does every day, his only thing that he does is plays this video game. And this video game was like placed there by like this alien race to recruit pilots. And it was like training people.
So
And he breaks like the top score and moves into this final level. And what it does, it sends a signal to the planet that placed it there. And then the alien general or recruiter or whatever he is, he comes down and he's like, we're recruiting you for pilot training because we're at war for the galaxy, safety of the galaxy. And it's like every kid that played video games that saw that movie was like, I need to get good because I'm going to have to save the galaxy.
But like, what if you're if you're playing like Street Fighter or something, right? It's like after you win and you beat Bison, they're like, we're coming for your kung fu skills. And it's just like a little like 85-pound kid with twig arms. You're like, I'm ready to fight. Right?
Yeah, unless he's like 5 years old and he's 85 pounds.
Oh, all right.
He's just like, I'm ready. I was born for this. Yeah. He just eats corn dogs all day. Yeah. I don't know.
Right. What if it's like Farmville and it's like, we need your farming skills? Our planet needs irrigation.
Yeah. Yeah. You phenomenal irrigation skills. Your timing and placement and setup didn't compare to the Roman Empire and or whatever. Agriculture cannot compare to who you are.
Right.
Your mindset is amazing for watering fields
and it's like
for miles.
Those girly like makeup games. The alien comes out. Could you do my makeup, please?
Right.
All right.
Vogue magazine.
But road to ADCC though.
Bejeweled.
What do they do there, right? We need you to match these gems with that gem.
Your matching skills are unmatchable. They're like, I knew this day would come.
Like, I knew my life wasn't worthless. Right?
I put in countless hours, if not years, of Bejeweled. I guess the only game I really played on my phone was the snake game.
Yeah,
that was it.
Too.
I really didn't play any other game. There was a Street Fighter one, but it wasn't the same.
Yeah. So yeah, road to ADCC. You said competition. Something about that.
There's great matchups. This tournament isn't ADCC, but it's like the road to. Like these
road
are
to.
Every single match on this card is pretty much fight of the night. Is the best.
Oh man,
phenomenal matchups.
Yeah. So like one you said specifically that I want to talk about. Like we're gonna talk about Leslie Clay in a little bit. But Mikey Musumeci versus Gio Martinez. Wow. So like he showed me one of Mikey Musumeci's fights in Who's Number One, right? Against oh man, I hope I don't get his name wrong. Juni or Casio? Is that it?
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull this up.
Well, phenomenal match, man. And it was awesome. And man, Mikey Musumeci, he's definitely the guy, man. He's definitely the guy to beat. I believe you mentioned like number one pound for pound, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So there was,
and he's just like the way like Jason described it to me, like who's number one, right? Stacked.
It's a cool tournament.
Yeah, really cool tournament. Completely stacked. The world's best is there. He's going in every division, and he's just killing off the champion. Right? That's what it looks like.
That's what he wants to do. Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah. Mikey Musumeci is phenomenal.
And he's like a 125-pounder naturally, right?
Is
that it?
He's a little guy, yeah.
Yeah.
He's tiny.
And it's crazy. Like right now, I think he's up to 145 with this Gio Martinez fight, right?
Gio's the number one guy at 145.
Right. And it's like, what's he gonna do when it gets like 175 or like 185 or like whatever their higher divisions are? You know what I mean?
So Mikey Musumeci did. He beat Bruno Malfacini in the gi, in the IBJJF rules, and that was huge. He also beat, I think, Joao Miao, and then he's beat really good guys, and I know about him because I was at American Top Team, and he was training under Shark, and everybody knew Mikey. Mikey was like gifted, you know what I mean? He was like just the Achilles of jiu-jitsu. Like he's this super talented, driven, skilled athlete.
If he's the Achilles, what's his heel?
I don't know. I think it's pizza.
Okay. Years later, he's just like, well, now I'm a super heavyweight.
Right. Well, that was the thing. He did sign up in the open weight and went against some big guys, man. I think he went against Muhammad Ali.
Oh, yeah.
And he got just thrown around, but he was like, his guard is insane.
This guy's a heavyweight, though, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so Mikey Musumeci just looked like a child on the mat with this gigantic human.
Man.
Yeah, and just Mikey Musumeci is just so cool.
Yeah.
And he's a brainiac, man.
Dude, yeah, like at least the interviews I've watched with him, you know, he seems like such a cool dude, man.
Yeah.
He really does. Like an honest, genuine person who's just like completely obsessed with jiu-jitsu. And it seems like the best in whatever they do are typically have that kind of mindset about it. You know what I mean?
So just like Rose, Doug Rose, he's very honest with himself.
Yeah.
And he's very honest with his strengths and his weaknesses.
That is such an admirable quality to have, man.
And he's not boastful, and he doesn't feed his ego. Like your ego is the person who you think you are, like this character that you've built up, and to make yourself feel more confident.
Absolutely.
Like he doesn't feed that at all. It seems like he's like, I know what I'm capable of. I know what I got. He like has a list that he goes through, you know, and he's always making himself a better athlete. Like he's always going to different people to train with. I've noticed that about him. Yeah. Like he went to the Mendez brothers. He went to Kyotera. You know, and now he's over there with the Bolo brothers. He's just like, he's always making his game better.
Oh, man.
And he's not prideful in any of that. He's honest with like, hey, these guys know what they're doing in this area, and I need to go get what they're good at or train with them to hone what I already have to make it better.
All right. So, yeah, dude. So incredibly impressive. So it's like so like, what do we have to say about Gio Martinez, his opponent, on this matchup?
Gio Martinez is a unique individual as well. Yeah. Gio, he's a former, well, he's still breakdancing, but he was a breaker. He comes from breakdancing lifestyle. Yeah. Right? And breakdancing lifestyle is they battle, right? Two people battle, or two groups, two crews will battle each other, right? And with breaking. And so it's very like tribal mentality and like gangster, not like gangster robbing people, but like they come out aggressively, like and they come to demonstrate the best power moves, the best technique, skill, creativity, you know, and they want to showcase all of that. It's an art, and it's and so they want to showcase all of that. And it's like a dance style that was like birthed out of like kung fu craze in New York and hip hop at the same time. And they're doing like windmills and all these like kung fu floor work moves, you know, and then they're doing like these up rock moves where they're reenacting like fighting scenes and stuff, right? Yeah. And they're just trying to humiliate their opponent that's across from them, you know, and I kind of grew up in that era, not in New York, but in Miami. And it's like you show up anywhere. It's like school, roller skating rings, wherever, parties, you know, house parties, wherever you're going. It was like, and if you're a breaker, you're going to battle, right? And so that's like the lifestyle he came out of. And so he brings it right into jiu-jitsu. And he's a black belt under Eddie Bravo in 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. And so they bring like this unique. Eddie Bravo himself is a like an open-minded thinker, and so he's open to learning as much styles, and he never says this is the only way, right?
Right.
And he's a black belt under Jean-Jacques Machado, who has this unique style of gi jiu-jitsu and no gi, but like he was a monster in his competition days also. But he has this unique approach to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. So back to Gio Martinez, Mikey Musumeci, my dude. What do you think about the match, and what do you think is going to happen?
I'm excited for the match.
Yeah.
I think, okay, this is a tough one.
Uh-huh.
They're both attackers.
Nice.
They're both, but here's my love for this match. Gio Martinez is slippery. He's hard to get a hold of. If you watch any of his matches, he can like almost get out of anything, and he gets out and he attacks. Mikey Musumeci, on the other hand, is sticky. It's hard for people to get out of anything that he has. Most of the time when he locks on a leg lock, because of his gi training for so many years,
wow,
the only way people get out is by rolling out of bounds. They never get out.
Like Junie did.
Yeah, they roll out of bounds. And he puts a hurting on him. You know, while they're rolling. I was watching Junie's ankle was like, it was nasty. Me and Isaac watched it last night just to get in the, you know, we watched, Isaac's my son, we watched Gio's and Mikey's matches, and we were just like, man, this is going to be an insane match. If you've ever watched Snakes fight, it's going to be like that.
It's like a knot of arms and legs.
Yeah, it's going to be insane. It's going to be fast-paced. They're both very athletic. They're both very strong.
Yeah.
They're both very gifted, skilled, and just like reactionary fighters. It's going to be an amazing match. That's my favorite matchup on that card.
Nice. Yeah, so that
I think everything else is just going to be like regular jiu-jitsu people doing their game. Maybe some of them are going to be one-sided. And that might be like my biased opinion.
Okay, well, yeah, so like what are some other matches on the card that you think are noteworthy?
Okay. We have to mention Lizzie Clay.
Of course.
All right? She's from this area.
That's
Soldotna,
right.
Alaska.
Right.
She started doing jiu-jitsu here. And she moved up to Anchorage, and she started doing jiu-jitsu with Legacy. And then she's a part of Aries Jiu-Jitsu. She's been getting great training all over the world.
Man.
She's meeting the best in the world. And she's phenomenal.
It's awesome that someone from this town, right, is actually like making it pretty big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's doing like a significant thing in jiu-jitsu.
We have a strong town, man. A lot of good names come out of our town in sports and athletics.
Oh, yeah?
Athletics, yeah. But like, she you know, if you want to compare these people to superheroes, okay,
I do.
Okay, I would compare her to Batman, in that Batman's gift or skill is his obsession with like doing the job or whatever it is.
Yeah,
and she definitely has OCD when it comes to jiu-jitsu and making herself the best.
Nice.
She's very serious when it comes to training. She's very serious in the match. She is a gamer, 100%.
Nice.
And that's who she is. I think if you would put her with anything in life, not just jiu-jitsu, she would have that same approach, 100%. She would give all of her time, thought, energy, passion, everything into whatever she's doing, and she would be successful at it. Yeah. She's an interesting character that way.
Nice.
Yeah, and she's a sweetheart too.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and she's whoa, I feel she's gonna win.
Yeah, who's she up against?
Anna Vieira. So let's look at this. So Anna is a ADCC veteran. And Elizabeth Clay, qualified when she was 16 to go to ADCC, but she tweaked her knee and she couldn't go. So this is a good matchup.
Yeah.
This is a good matchup. You got a veteran versus a newcomer, you know, and not that the veteran's so old and it's still very young.
Yeah.
And Lizzie is, man, she just got her black belt this year. She's a monster. She's champion in every area. Gi, no gi, Pan Ams. She's killing it in every event.
Yeah.
You know, the only person I think that stopped her right now is Gabby Garcia. And Gabby stopped her by doing big people jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You know, move forward, lay heavy. I didn't see Gabby do anything phenomenal. She wasn't attacking. Gabby Garcia didn't lock on any submissions. She didn't pass Lizzie's guard. She didn't do anything. I think, if anything, Gabby Garcia was fighting to pass guard the whole time or fighting out of submissions.
Yeah.
And they gave the match to her because of the rule set. She was on top the whole time, and the way it looks, whatever the case may be in those types of tournaments, it looks like she's the dominant one. Lizzie, you won that match. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
If you ever watch this podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so I think Lizzie Clay is a monster, and I think she's going to win it.
All right.
And I'm totally biased.
Of course.
Also on that card, so Andrew Wiltz was supposed to be against Roberto Jimenez, which Roberto Jimenez is awesome. Very good jiu-jitsu fighter.
Yeah.
But in his place is going to be Cade Ruotolo. Yeah, one of the epic twins.
Yeah.
One of the Wonder Twins, right? There's a group of twins throughout jiu-jitsu.
Seems like
the
it.
The Miao brothers, you know, the Mendez brothers, and the Ruotolo brothers. So, like, twins always, they have a lifetime partner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfair.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And in the interview, they asked Roberto Jimenez, who would be the super matchup of your dream that you could match up against? And he's like, gave this like deep, in-depth, like psychological answer. He's like, well, I've already gone against the best, so I guess it would be myself. Right?
Oh, jeez.
Right. He's like, my inner demons or whatever. I don't know. So, yeah, that's cool. And then they go to ask Cade, and Cade is like totally daydreaming. Right? He's like, you know, and he goes, I forgot the question. What was it? And they go, who would you match up against? Who would be the best matchup? Or who's been the best match for you? And he goes, oh, my brother.
Nah.
We've almost fought to the death. And then my son Isaac is like, that's pretty much the same answer as Roberto Jimenez because they're twins. He goes, it's like fighting himself. And if you watch them fight, they're very similar in a lot of ways, you know, but Ty has more time in top game than he does in the bottom game, and Cade attacks a lot from the bottom. Even though he has like a lot of finishes from Darce, he's been killing it with this buggy choke where he has a cool setup. He sets up the guillotine, he pulls them into guard, and as they're passing his guillotine, he gives them the pass. He sets up what's called the buggy choke, and it's a crazy looking choke submission from the bottom, side control.
Wow.
And he's winning with it.
Yeah.
And so they asked Roberto Jimenez, have you been practicing to counter that? He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I'd be an idiot not to train to counter that. And I think the counter is to go back into half guard, you know, but we'll see. We'll see. I think that's going to be a fun match. Athletic for sure. Those guys are brick houses. Lucas Barboza, who just finished a match with Mateus Diniz, where it was controversial with the time limit. The time stopped. The referee was sleeping on the job.
Yeah.
It's like they got a Naga ref there. No offense. No offense, Naga refs. But there have been times where Naga refs are not watching the match. They're watching another match. You know, and I'll just tell you right now, my favorite referee of all time is Hinaldo Santos, and he's like one of the main guys there at Naga, and he's awesome. And I would always wait to have him as my referee or have him ref whoever I was cornering or coaching for their matches. But majority of the time Naga refs are like daydreaming, and it looked like they had a Naga ref there, and that ref was sleeping on the job. The time ended, and Mateus Diniz had this like one arm choke, and he had Lucas Barboza's wrist trapped, and he had the arm like a crucifix, and he put him to sleep, and he was asleep, and then the referee calls it, and then he lets go of it. Mateus Diniz calls it. You see Lucas Barboza his head hit the mat, and he's out.
And like, here's the crazy thing is when we rewatched it, right? So then like he had him in the hold, right? The ref didn't notice it until like after the timer went out, and then after the ref called it, then the buzzer went off, right?
Yeah.
And then technically, rule set wise, is the fight's over when the buzzer goes off, like when the ref calls it.
Yeah.
So technically, the fight, even though it went past 0, it wasn't over until the ref called it. So yeah,
that's true. I don't know if that was the rule set.
Yeah.
Okay, so like in a boxing match, the bell doesn't stop the match. The ref stops the match.
Yeah.
Right.
So
don't stop fighting until the ref stops it. I don't know if those rules applied, but it looked like whoever's doing the buzzer or the bell was watching the referee and not the timer. Right? There was a lot of controversy. So the timer went off on its own, the referee went off on its own, and the bell ringer went off on its own. That was 3 things that are supposed to be dictating
in sync.
The match, and when it ends, and all of them were off. One guy gets put to sleep. The other guy wins by also a controversial 2 points. That did he take down Mateus Diniz? No, because in an earlier match, the same takedown was used where the person didn't secure the takedown, and 2 points were not awarded.
That
terrible
drives me crazy,
dude. Terrible all around tournament. I mean, the jiu-jitsu was awesome. I'm just talking about the referee and the rule set did not work out very well to look good for people to say, hey, I want to go compete at that tournament. That's a good tournament, right?
Yeah.
They need to fix that for real. If they want to keep competitors and if they want to keep fans and viewers. So they need to fix that. But Lucas Barboza, the one who got put to sleep, which I'm doing to you. Is now versing Tackett.
So he's doing what?
He's versing I think his name's William Tackett. He's young. I think he's like 19 years old.
Okay.
So what's it called? Craig Jones was supposed to fight him. And Craig Jones broke his hand or his wrist. And somebody rolled over it during training, something like that. And if you've trained in a gym, when sometimes like there's a lot of people on the mat rolling, you never know who's going to roll over. It's almost like a knee injury in football. An accidental guy rolls into your knee, like your own teammate or something. And he broke his wrist or his hand, and so Craig Jones is out. And Craig Jones has been looking to go against Barboza for a while, and they haven't yet to meet. I think that'd be a good match. They're both big, strong guys, both flexible, athletic, and they're both really good at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Technical jiu-jitsu fighters. I think it'd be a good match. We got to see Craig Jones against Tai Ruotolo because Craig Jones has said that he'll compete against anybody. He's even challenged Gabby Garcia.
Yeah.
He goes, I'll fight anybody. Man, woman, child, I don't care. And Ty was like, okay, because he's still like a kid, right? And he goes against him. Dude, it went to decision, man.
Wow.
Ty is like underweight by like a lot. Maybe 30 to 40, maybe 50 pounds. I can't remember. But they went at it, and he said, Craig Jones is probably just going to pull guard and attack my legs. I'm not even afraid, right? Because Ty spends most of his game is being a top player. Yeah. And Craig came out wrestling. And he was like going hard. And he stayed on top, and he was attacking, passing the guard. And Ty got to showcase that, hey, I do have a good guard. And he was trying to hit the buggy choke like his brother does, but Craig Jones had the answer. And so it went to decision. Craig Jones got the win. But Craig Jones is out against Lucas Barboza. and they don't get to face each other. Maybe they'll face each other in ADCC 2022. So that's not happened. And let's see here. William Tackett. I think Andrew Tackett's his brother. William Tackett's in, and William has been getting a lot of matches.
Yeah.
He's been getting a ton of matches. He went against I think he went against Ty, he went against Wagner. He's getting a lot of matches lately, and he's getting a lot of mat time. He's very young. And he's an attacker. He's good at jiu-jitsu. He's strong. I'd say William Tackett is going to get really good over the years.
Yeah.
And he's going to be one to watch. He's building his arsenal. He's building his mat time. Yeah. He's fun to watch. It's going to be a good match.
Nice.
One of my old teammates, Mauricio Gomez, went against Lucas Barboza. It went to decision. And he was underweight under Lucas Barboza by a lot. I think William will have a chance to maybe get a win.
Yeah.
And he's already lost to Lucas Barboza, so he's got a feel for him. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Lucas Barboza is by far the favored. And William is just building his repertoire.
Right.
Who else do we got here? I think we covered them all.
Okay.
Oh, wait. The main event is, which they all can be main events.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part about this card. But the main event is Kenan Duarte and Mateus Diniz, which these guys are monster gorilla humans that are, Mateus Diniz, his fighter name is King Kong. So it's like, these guys are big, strong dudes. Thank God they're not punching each other. Somebody will lose a jaw.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is going to be a very powerful, strong match.
Nice.
Yeah. It's going to be insane to be there. I'm definitely watching. It's today at 4.
Nice.
Do you work today?
Yeah, at 4.
Oh. I guess we'll watch it later.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all I got on that. But recap UFC.
Oh, that's right.
264.
UFC 264. So, full disclaimer, I did not watch it. Yeah. Sadly, I was working that day, and no, obviously, you know what happened, and our last podcast, we had our thoughts before the fight happened, and now that it happened, nice. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, let's start up that main event, man. McGregor versus Poirier 3.
Yeah.
Now, I almost want to say what are the chances, right? But, now information came out that his leg was fractured before the fight even started. And here's the thing, it does sound like an excuse, but it's also true. And it also is incredibly, stupid and dangerous for the people around McGregor to let him fight with his leg fractured like that.
Even the UFC.
Yeah.
To allow him to fight.
Yeah.
With a broken foot or leg.
Yeah, and you know what? I might need to do some more research about how much the UFC actually knew about it. But his team definitely knew all about it. And and the thing is, if it's fractured, that means they would have to have some kind of doctor to check it out and tell you that it's fractured, right?
Yeah. That means he had x-rays.
Yeah, that means he had x-rays, and whoever the professional was there didn't say, maybe you shouldn't fight, or maybe they did say it and they ignored it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the point is...
Well, there's privacy practice.
Yeah.
They don't have to disclose what's going on.
Yeah.
Michael Bisping had a glass eye.
Oh, that's right.
Ever
since the Vitor Belfort fight. So every fight after that, he was a pirate. One eye, man.
And he became a champion. Michael Bisping is the man.
Dude, he is the man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, he came in fractured, and that is just a huge failure on his whole team, man.
Yeah.
To let that happen. Because think of it.
They gambled. They were gambling.
They were. And the thing is, it was so Poirier, he's been active, right, his whole career, pretty much. McGregor has been taking these massive layoffs, and it's he's fought a year since the Cerrone fight, which lasted just less than a minute or two.
Yeah.
Right? And then, I mean, honestly, he just doesn't have that much ring time. And I really do believe that the whole division has been leveling up while he's been kind of stagnating. Now he's going to be out another year because of this leg injury, right?
Yeah.
And just imagine the levels everyone's going to reach when he's still at the same place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then, this may actually derail his career as a top 5 fighter permanently, right?
If he comes back, the things that are going to have to take place is he's going to have a change of heart and thought process.
Yeah.
Him personally as a warrior, who he is, he's not a quitter in that he's not a quitter in his career. We've seen him quit in the cage. But he's got a big ego.
Yeah.
And and it's almost like that's his strength almost.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. But in a regular meritocracy, I'm just gonna say this, and you could be angry at me in the comment section if you want. There's absolutely no way he becomes champion again in a normal meritocracy. He has to fight his way. He has to fight the best in order to get there, right?
Yeah.
Just lightweight might be too much for him. 170 is way too much for him. Even if he goes down to 145 again, right? He's fighting these young, hungry guys, right? I think he gets handled by a lot of guys down there.
Yeah.
So the thing
if
is,
anything, if he stays in the UFC, he'll be on the lower card.
Yeah, and the thing is, unless he gets special treatment, which he does all the time, I don't see him ever becoming a champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they'll just if he beats anyone, if he beats the last ranked guy in the lightweight division, he's getting a title shot. That's his superpower, right?
Yeah.
and then and if he happens to beat the champion, for whatever reason, well, there you go. You have a champion who could potentially lose.
He's won the lottery several times in
division.
getting championship fights.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure if it's winning the lottery anymore, just because it's the UFC's playing ball with him. You know what I mean? They know they want. It's good for business if he's champion.
It's good for business. People like to see him lose, and it's sad, man.
Yeah.
And at first, there was a lot of people like to see him win. And the Aldo fight.
Yeah.
Right? There was a lot of people that was a big turning point for his career.
That was his heyday. I personally believe that, and the Alvarez fight, those were his heydays.
But even the Eddie Alvarez fight, man, it was just I felt like Alvarez he hadn't yet had the UFC competition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, how many wins did he get before he got the title shot? Was it 1 or 2 wins or something like that? I know he fought Poirier, and he might have fought someone else, and I think that was about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a fast track, and try doing the same thing with Chandler. He beat Dan Hooker, good win, and then he was in a title fight already.
Yes.
And that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
It's wild to think of, and then it's Alvarez was in a similar situation, and he got the win.
Yeah.
So, pretty wild. It's definitely, it definitely would be different if you fought a Tony or a Habib at the time. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which would have been great to watch, man.
I'd have loved that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd really like to see Tony come back.
Oh, yeah, man. It's hard being a Tony fan right now, but I still love him, man. He's Tony. He's Tony Ferguson, man. You can't.
Yeah.
I love him, man.
Yeah.
But 100%. What to do with his career, honestly? Older veteran fighters, man. I think you just have to take the fun fights. You know what I mean? The older guys, you get the fun matchups, right? You don't try to fight for the belt. You make the fights that are fun, make you money, and make sense.
It's funny being a fan of him. I'm emotionally attached that I want him to come back and fight for a belt.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
100%, but I just don't
I
know.
believe in him.
I believe in his spirit, but
yeah,
man, I don't know. That Gaethje fight did some permanent damage to him.
Dude, and with Gaethje is a great white shark of that division.
Yes. Oh man.
With Khabib gone,
he could
retired.
He could beat anyone on any given day.
Yeah.
In that fight, as hard as fights, I really believe it's just Oliveira, Poirier, and Makhachev. Everyone else, I think he beats pretty handily. You know what I mean? And maybe Chandler is 50-50. It's like Russian roulette because either of them could knock each other out instantly.
Yeah.
Both of them have great takedown defense. You know what I mean?
It's going to be hard to beat Gaethje.
Oh, yeah.
His whole game changed. With the Trevor Whitman boxing coming into play, striking.
That's like a testament on how like important it is to have a head coach who actually looks out for you, right?
Yes.
Like, no disrespect to John Kavanaugh, but you know he failed McGregor with like the whole leg injury thing, right? You know, with Whitman, that would not have happened, right?
Yeah.
That's just not a possibility.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
no, they would have been like, "You're not ready for the fight. We want you at 100%."
Yeah, they're like, "We'll revisit it in 3 months." You know what I mean?
Maybe Kavanaugh said no. You never know, man.
That's true. That's why
we don't know. We don't know behind the scenes.
That is true. A lot of things you don't know.
Because McGregor's the type of guy that's like, he's gonna do what he was gonna do.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna stop him. McGregor does what McGregor does.
You know what? That's true. And like I always mentioned that like one of Tony Ferguson's his probably biggest weakness is that he doesn't have a head coach. But I might have to retract that statement because for all we know, he might have someone who plays that role. Mm-hmm. But Ferguson also seems like he does what he does. Yeah. And he probably, if he had one, for all we know, he might not even listen to him, you know?
Ferguson, he has Eddie for his jiu-jitsu. Uh-huh. He has Dave Mills for wrestling. Striking, who does he have for striking?
I really don't. Well, now I think he's been training with like Freddy Roach in that gym.
Oh, really?
Just for his last fight. But yeah, you saw. I think that's a very different Tony Ferguson though. So like the thing is, his style's even changed, right? Because he can't rely on his chin anymore like he used to, right? So then he has to do something different. So I feel like the Tony Ferguson we're going to see evolve. He's still evolving right now into a different fighter.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm not sure what's going to come from it, but I definitely don't want to see him take anyone in like the top 7 until he's got like 1 or 2, like at least one solid win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it says it right there, Freddie Roach.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Freddie Roach is no joke.
Yeah.
But this is one thing about Freddie Roach that they might be a good matchup. Mm-hmm. But for Freddie Roach, he doesn't coach boys. That's what he says. I don't coach boys. I coach men. I'm not going to wake you up. I'm not going to tell you to be at practice. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you to train. But Tony has been his own man and driven on his own for a long time. So that's probably going to make a great matchup right there.
Yeah.
Freddie just wants to be your coach. He's not going to be your life coach.
Yeah.
He's going to be your boxing coach. Mm-hmm. And it's tough when you have to be like constantly be their psychologist.
Okay.
Their nutritionist. All of these things, you know.
Yeah, I can't do that either. You know what I mean? Like if someone asks me to work with them in whatever area, right? It's I'm 100% down with that mentality, right? Because it's like you need to put in your effort, and it's not asking much. Being on time, waking up early, you know, having a good breakfast. That's not asking much. Yeah. It's just the basic disciplines of life. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, being a head coach is a stressful job in that you cannot show stress. You have to keep your fighter calm. Yeah. You know, you have to make them believe in themselves or help them, support them, or encourage them to believe in themselves, believe in their technique, believe in the system, and believe that they can win and will win, you know, and do their best. And to keep them, to keep the demons away, right? Yeah. To keep the doubts, the lies, you know, to keep the insecurities, you know, at a minimum. And it's like, that's a tough job, man. Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. Oh, that is a tough job. Yeah, and so much respect to, like, these masterful coaches, you know what I mean? Who really know how to, how to make get their fighter to win. Yeah. Yeah. So I remember going into a match, and my coach telling me, I know this guy, Jason, and I can't remember the guy I was going against. He was a Bellator fighter, and he was also like a college wrestler, and he was very athletic, very strong, right? And my coach telling me, I know this guy. He's really good. He goes, but Jay, I think you can beat him. I think you got this. He goes, I just nothing to lose. Don't hold back. Go 100%. Right. He told me, he's like, if you go 100% and you do you, Jason, I believe you can beat him.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, okay, sweet. Thanks. So I get warmed up. Right. And it's getting ready to go into time. And one of my teammates that my like, you have teammates that you train with like all the time, your go-to training partners, right? One of my training partners runs over to me and he's like, Jason, this guy's an animal. I wrestled with him in high school. He goes, you're going to lose.
Jeez.
He goes, just try your best not to get killed.
Oh my goodness.
And I was
That's
like,
not helping.
Okay, so I go, wow, thanks, man. And he goes, don't get hurt, man. And he was sincerely, genuinely worried for me. And he was not gonna lie to me. He's never lied to me.
Gotcha.
And he was like, he's like, you're walking into an oven, right? You're jumping out of the pot into the fire type of thing. And
like, how hard was he though? The match,
dude, it was an awesome match.
Yeah,
he beat me by 2 points. That was it.
Oh, hey,
he got a takedown, and the rest of the match was just full on scrambling.
All right.
And by the time of the end of the match, I went for like a Hail Mary throw on him, and then the timer went off. Yeah. And I didn't get the throw. We kind of both just hit the floor and got back to our feet.
Okay.
And yeah, it was that was it. He won by 2 points. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And it was just like Chicago Open, or I can't remember. But yeah, it was crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he went on to win our bracket. But yeah, it's you have your head coach trying to encourage you, and they almost have to lie to you. And I feel like I think about it back then to that match, and I'm like, my coach was actually lying to me, you know. And he was
like. I feel like, okay, like maybe it was a lie, but like if it happened, it would have been the truth, right? If you pulled it off,
right,
it wouldn't have been a lie.
Right, like he was like prophesying into me.
Yeah,
like
he's this could be you.
He's
right?
like, yeah, he's like God calling Gideon,
the
one who's hiding, grinding, his wheat in
yeah, and it's like you have to tell your fighter the truth, but like I 100% understand like how you say it, and you don't have to tell them everything. I mean, like, I forgot the fighter's name, but it's like a Bellator fighter. Bellator. She's like a lady who she's like the Cuban lady who does like Taekwondo, and they're trying to hype her up like crazy. You know how Bellator is with hyping people up, right?
Yeah.
Right. They're trying to hype her up to ridiculous amounts, and they finally made her fight a wrestler, right? And pretty much. Yeah, she didn't have an answer, right? And then, like, I think between rounds 1 and 2,
knees and uppercuts,
yeah,
and distance. That should have been her answer.
Yeah, but like between rounds 1 and 2, like she was in the corner, and her coach, man, oh my goodness, it was the brutal, honest truth. There was no lie and no mercy, right?
Really?
He was just like, "You're getting your butt kicked. You're gonna lose if you do not do something."
During the fight?
No, during the corner. Right? Like, she was in the corner, and he was giving her advice, and he was just hammering it in, and her face was like she lost all hope. She's just like, I'm going to die.
Okay, see, right there is not a good time to tell the truth.
Yeah, I mean...
In the match like that, that's not a good time to tell the truth.
Yeah, like, you don't say stuff like that, I believe.
No.
Like, you have to, like, give them the way to win. Give them the solution.
That was that coach projecting his loss. He was losing. And he was projecting it on her.
It was just so brutal, the truth, though, like that. I mean, in the middle of the fight, I'm not sure how on earth you're supposed to process that as a fighter. You know what I mean?
No, there's still a lot of time left in the fight.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of time. He had no answers is what that was. He ran out of answers. And so it's like, I've been cornering fighters to where they were losing a fight. And it was just like, hey, man, there's always a chance. There's always a chance to win. And it's like, put him on the cage, right?
Yeah, it was Valeria Laurida.
And so,
sorry.
And so it's like, there's always a chance. There's always a game plan, right? The wrestler's probably putting her on the cage, taking her down, and punching her, right?
Pretty much.
Did we watch a fight where a girl with the head and arm.
Oh yeah, the Mexican chick, right?
Mexican
The
girl,
short
dude.
Mexican girl.
Yeah.
She had one move, right?
Yeah.
Imagine like you have a fighting game character, and the developers are like, he could only jab, right?
Right,
He's got
that was
one
it.
thing,
That was
and
it.
she's
Jabbing
just
from the squat. Like, yeah, that was her, and she won.
Yeah.
She got the lady in a head and arm. And
I mean, the surprising thing is the other girl didn't have an answer to it. You know what
that
I mean?
was crazy. That was crazy. It's like I've preached so much against the head and arm.
Yeah.
Because like it's a natural instinct for animals to go for the head or the neck, right?
Uh-huh.
Like everything, right? Even children on the playground, they call it the bully headlock for a reason, and they go for it. And it's like I preach against it so much because when you go for head and arms. You know, the power of the head and arm is not even getting in the head. It's getting the arm and whipping the body over, pulling the elbow. But like everybody goes for the head and you're giving up your back, right? And I'm so against my students.
Of course.
Like depending on the head and arm. Like
Yeah.
the little kids, they come out, the first thing they're doing, they're like running for the head.
Yeah.
And you get kids fighting for a double head and arm, right? And they're just like, they're in this head and arm battle, right?
Yeah.
I'm so against it, man. And so, like, say with like my son, he's been with me since he was born, right? So him, it's so hard for him to go for head and arms. He just now started doing head and arms, and he's 16, turning 17 this year. And so he's been doing jiu-jitsu now for over 10 years, and he's like, he's what is it called? He's a shooter. He goes for the legs. He gets the legs. He finishes on his feet, right? That's what he goes for. And or getting to the back, right? And so like now I saw him. He head and armed a guy, a D2 wrestler. He head and armed him during MMA training, and I was like, oh my gosh, my son just did a head and arm on a D2 wrestler. And it's like, but it's like the power is not in going for the head. It's when the elbow's there, and he caught the elbow because the guy got to a position where he can grab the elbow and then come back and whip the guy's body over. Boom. But this chick came out like a child going for the head and getting it, and the other girl did not take her back. She let that chick just hold her in that head and arm and do these like rabbit punches. Yeah, it was crazy. That was a crazy match.
It was crazy. I think that fight might have set a record for the most head and arms in the history. Just all of them together,
all
right?
of them, everything.
Every fight together.
Every playground fight, everything.
One fight has more head and arms than like the whole UFC.
Guinness Book of Records. Hands down. Who has the most head and arms? Boom.
Yeah, they should have that.
Valeria, that was her name?
No, that's the Taekwondo chick.
Okay.
We're talking about like the short Mexican girl, which I don't know her name, but
probably Olivia. Yeah, yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah,
that was good. Where are we at?
On
the card, UFC 264.
Yeah. So then, that's our thoughts on McGregor Poirier 3. Burns, great win over Thompson.
That was a great fight, dude.
Yeah.
Those guys beat each other up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and
dude, Wonder Boy.
Dude,
he's so good.
He's phenomenal. I love him so much. Yeah. And I'm thinking
his
next
kicks, man.
Dude. Like what is next for these guys? Like here's the thing, like Dana's probably doing Covington versus Usman next,
course.
right?
Of course. And Usman he said I want to break his jaw again. You know?
Yeah, he wants it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's good. And so after that, man, it's like what do you do with Burns and what do you do with Wonder Boy? Which I'm thinking Leon versus Wonder Boy, great match.
Yeah.
Winner gets the next shot, right?
Yeah.
All right. And,
I mean, they're just going to be circulating that bunch.
Pretty much for now. I mean, there's some up and comers like I know they want to get Chiesa in there, right? He's fighting Magny next.
Yeah.
And then they also want to get Hamzat Chimaev.
Oof.
And he's fighting, I think they just announced he's fighting Li Jing Liang, the Leech, right?
Okay, the Leech.
This guy is pretty cool, man. Yeah. He's been around for a while. He's got like a big old chin. Makes it look like he's got an iron jaw.
Yeah.
And he's good. He beat Santiago Ponzinibbio, who everyone was high on. I was pretty high on him.
Yeah.
And he had a big layoff. And yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Li Jing Liang looked really good. And this is a great match because this is the hardest guy Hamza would have possibly fought.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to be really good. It's actually going to show is Khamzat really hype or not.
Yeah.
Like, I think the Mearshad fight was supposed to be that because it's the first guy who's not a can that he's fighting. But it lasted like 5 seconds, man. Like, it wasn't even like Mearshad didn't even throw a punch, right? He just got starched. And it's like that didn't really tell us anything. So it's like this here, I highly, 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 highly doubt that's going to happen. Like, it's going to happen that way. But definitely Li Jingyan versus Khamzat Chimaev is a winner of a match makeup. A match, yeah.
Yeah. My son made a good point. Okay, so Gilbert Burns won that fight.
He did.
And I like him.
Yeah, he's great.
He's very athletic, very explosive.
Yeah, he like has it all.
He does.
Yeah.
Him and Usman are a lot alike.
Yeah, they were training partners, and
oh man, that's right. I forgot about that.
And yeah, that's the reason I had him beating Usman because I'm like he was his training partner, right? Supposedly in training, Gilbert would always get him in these crazy submissions, and I'm like, if it hits the ground.
How long ago was that? I mean, Usman's been at it for a while now.
I think it's only been maybe a year and a half when they stopped training together. I believe so. Because it was like they were training with each other up until that fight, what I understand, right? And then he went to Trevor Whitman and just neck levels, man. He just exploded with
Trevor Whitman's, stock keeps going up. It doesn't stop.
Dude, he's got Gaethje, Rose, Usman, those three by themselves, man, is just completely insane.
Yeah.
And yeah, for all we know, dude, Gaethje in the next year, he could be the lightweight champion. That means Trevor's got 3 champions under his belt if that happens.
Wow.
It's insane from one camp.
Yeah.
That's signs of greatness.
Yeah.
Signs of greatness because AKA did it before. Same thing with American Top Team.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just a sign of like one of the greatest gyms ever to
Jackson
have that.
Wink. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good testament to Trevor Whitman.
Dude, phenomenal testament. And yeah, Burns, man, he looked great. He did. And as much as I would love to see him fight Colby Covington, I mean, looks like Covington's booked next. So like, what do you do with Burns in the meantime? Like, maybe one more solid win, and he's probably back in for a title shot, right? Like,
hopefully. I mean,
yeah, like, I know he called out Masvidal. But personally, I'd rather see Masvidal fight Leon Edwards. That fight's been brewing for a long time.
Dude, Masvidal's got to work it back up, man. He took a nasty KO.
That was a pretty big L. But, I mean, Masvidal may have the most matchup options in the division, right? Like him versus Colby, yes.
Yeah.
Him versus Leon after the 3-piece in the soda, you know. Yes, rematch with Thompson, he took an L, right?
Yeah.
Let's see if he could get it back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And him versus Vicente Luque, dude. Yes, that is fire, man. That is awesome.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Like fight of the year.
He's got work.
He could get it from anyone, and it'll be like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
But like Burns, like I don't like that fight for Masvidal, right? So I hope they don't fight just because I love Masvidal. But if they do, man, I think Burns probably takes
the win.
I think so. Yeah.
He can get him to the cage. He can get him to the ground.
Yeah, and
I think he would fight him the same way Usman did.
Yeah, and
the thing is, dude, Masvidal's tough,
dude,
man.
He is incredibly tough. Like
He's accurate with his strikes.
Even with his fight with Damian Maia didn't submit him. He even had his back and he couldn't submit him.
Dude, he's good. He's a good fighter.
Yeah, I hope no one underestimates.
He's a great fighter.
His BJJ, man. It's pretty insane.
No, he's a great fighter.
Yeah.
I think. Dude, he got caught, dude. His hands were down. He got caught, man.
Dude, yeah, and Usman's got power for days.
He's in a freight train.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he's so much power.
Yeah.
So fast.
Yeah, and
so explosive.
And I've never doubted Masvidal's chin, and I still don't. You know what I mean? But 100%, I mean, I don't see why Gilbert Burns can't do something along those lines. I don't think it's going to happen, but Burns has power, right? He's a threat on the ground, right? He's got takedowns, and on the feet, you would say Masvidal would have the edge, but that does not mean that Gilbert can't do work up there.
Of course he could do work. Yeah. So Sean O'Malley needs to get some good fights.
Oh, yeah, dude. So, like, UFC is always known as, like, they're the company that's going to put on the fights that the people want to see, that need to be made.
Yeah.
And Bellator's, like, the one who, like, has their favorite and then has their favorite just beat up cans. They try to
Yeah.
build them up super slowly, and then they never fight real competition.
Yeah.
And once they do, they get starched.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like with Sean O'Malley. He looks like a Bellator fighter that was placed in the UFC,
Right.
and they're treating him like that. Because
Yeah.
the one verified fighter he actually fought, Marlon Vera. We all know what happened there.
Yeah.
And he's still making excuses, and he's still like mentally like insufficient in that area. I mean, pretty much they wanted to put him against, like, they're talking about Garbrandt next, and it's like, even though I feel like Garbrandt's definitely not the person he used to be, I think he could starch O'Malley, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. No, he's an animal.
He is.
He's an animal. He's a swinger.
He doesn't
Yeah.
play fight. He fights.
He
You know
fights.
what I mean?
He
Yeah.
comes out there and he's swinging for the fences.
He's got power,
Yeah.
and like when he's on, he's the best fighter in the division, right? And when he's off, he's what we see lately.
Yeah.
So it's I mean,
Sean O'Malley's gonna have to. He's gonna have to be very accurate, fight very long.
oh yeah,
And stay moving. Good footwork.
dude, yeah,
It's
man.
gonna be a stand-up fight. It's gonna be gnarly.
Yeah, he definitely needs to fight like credible competition, but I feel like if he does, the UFC is going to give him like the last guy on that totem pole, like either like Garbrandt or maybe even Marlon Moraes, just because Moraes has not been doing too hot lately, and then they're like, oh well, let's just feed him to O'Malley,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the next upcoming fights for UFC?
Oh, actually, if you hit wait. Go here. Hit that button there. No, yeah, sorry. Go right there. Hit that right there. Yeah, I think that's the next card coming up. What is it? Oh, Makhachev versus Thiago Moses, man.
Moise. Yeah.
Dude.
So,
Yeah, man, Makhachev.
dude, Makhachev is killing it, and his stats are insane.
Like in the UFC game.
No, I mean like in life. He's like matching up almost like he's looking better than Khabib.
Yeah, man.
And Khabib's his coach now.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Dude, yeah, man, absolutely. And yeah, people have always been saying like he possibly be the next champion, and it's like he needs to fight Oliveira at some point, regardless if Oliveira is still the champion or not. Just because that's the closest thing we'll ever get to Khabib versus Tony, right?
Yep.
And we need to see what happens when it's like the jiu-jitsu ace fights like the top heavy grappler. You know what I mean? And
no, he's a very good fighter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good.
And yeah, man, he needs to fight a credible guy. Someone needs to fight him, man.
Yes.
And who's not Rafael dos Anjos. Rafael dos Anjos made a career of fighting guys no one wants to fight, and I don't think it's done him any favors.
Yeah.
So someone else has to step up. I'm tired of my boy getting out wrestled and like and I don't want to see Makhachev do that to dos Anjos, man. So he's got to fight someone else.
So the cupcake, Misha Tate is making her comeback.
I don't like it.
Why not?
Dude, like when these older era fighters come back to the newer era, and I'm not sure who her opponent is. I'm unfamiliar with her.
She's been in the UFC for a while. She's been fighting a long time. This is her last fight.
This lady's 44.
And this is her comeback fight.
Okay, usually what happens is like they come back and then they fight these hungry lions, right?
Yeah.
And then they get a bad deal. They get eaten up. Remember when Uriah Faber retired and everyone's like, oh, this is a good retirement. And then he comes back, he gets one win, and then he gets starched by Peter Yan. And it's just like, man, I know you want to compete, but it's hard to watch. And I feel like Misha Tate's on the same path. She talked about wanting a rematch with Amanda Nunes. If she wins this fight, which she's fighting a 44-year-old lady who's looks like she's on her way out. I mean, Misha Tate could probably beat her.
That chick looks great for her age.
Right? And like, I'm afraid UFC is just gonna throw her at Nunes because Nunes needs someone to fight. She beat everyone. She needs more competition. She needs to be fed. She needs to be fed.
The monster needs to be fed. Yeah.
Misha's probably gonna get that fight, and that might be the worst beating in the history of that division.
Oh yeah.
So then that's what I'm afraid of with Misha Tate. That's why I don't want to see it. You know.
Man.
So if
Tate's good though.
If Tate takes an L here, it might be mercy. You know, like even with like McGregor breaking his leg, imagine if that didn't happen and he got dominated for 5 rounds. Him breaking his leg's mercy because it's a way out. You know what I mean? And just by the look of the
McGregor
fight,
still has. How old is he?
he's like 34 or something.
Dude, he's still good, man.
Is he though? I don't think so.
I think he just needs to get his mind right.
That's the number one thing. That's 100% the number one thing.
He needs to get his mind right, and he needs to get out there.
Yeah.
And he needs to step it up, man.
It's his mind and staying active, because think of it. He's always thinking about something else except his present situation. Mm-hmm. Even the second Poirier fight, he wanted to box Manny Pacquiao, right?
Right.
And then he's just like, oh, yeah, I'll do this fighting thing on the side. You can't do that with Dustin Poirier, right?
No.
Full attention needs to be on the guy.
Yeah.
And pretty much his mind is always somewhere else.
That's what I'm saying,
yeah.
Man. He won't be a champion if he stays with that mindset.
Yeah, man. Like, aside from Beneil Dariush, I don't think he beats anyone in the top 5 or top 7, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, man. Misha Tate coming back, and this Vitor Belfort. I'm not sure if it's still on, but remember he was gonna box Oscar De La Hoya.
Yes. Oh
man.
Let's visit that. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts is I don't want to see that happen to Vitor Belfort, all right? So when these MMA fighters fight these boxers, it's usually a payday kind of thing, and I'm happy
it's definitely a payday.
I'm happy they're getting paid. I'm so happy that they're just, like, getting paid, man. But it's like everyone knows what's going to happen. Like, I guess, like, Anderson Silva, he gave the MMA community a win, man. Anderson's the guy to do it. That's awesome.
Dude.
Yeah, Anderson's
but he's
the
a
man.
good striker.
He is. Yeah, that's the thing about it. Like Askren, dude, he doesn't strike. You know what I mean?
No, he doesn't. No, he's like,
yeah.
He's a phenomenal folk-style wrestler.
Yeah, that's his thing, right? And then like McGregor, he's just fighting too high of a competition. Like he could probably beat other boxers. McGregor can, but he's fighting the best.
Oh my gosh,
the best.
They're gonna fight on
September 11th. Oscar, what are you doing, man?
What the
jeez. You know what? I used to be a guy who liked Oscar to a guy who just doesn't like him at all, man.
Yeah,
but anyway, yeah, I'm pretty sure Oscar's gonna win. All right, so yeah, man, this has been a good podcast. Like, we even have more to talk about, but let's just save it for the next one, man.
All right, sounds good.
But yeah, so let's pretty much end this off with 2 quick notes, man. First, we got to plug the Jiu-Jitsu Gym, man. So let the people know what you do, where you do it at.
All right. I coach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the gi at All-American Training Center. And the name of my Jiu-Jitsu is under Revive Jiu-Jitsu. And I'm under TAC Team. And we are at the All-American Training Center in Soldotna, Alaska. And the best wrestling gym in the nation, I feel. And we have the best coming up here to coach and wrestle and train. And if you want to come up and train and get fishing in, come by the All-American Training Center and get some rolls in, some jiu-jitsu in, get some wrestling in. We have a weight room and a cardio room and saunas. Phenomenal facility. Yeah, absolutely. And
another note is, if you're listening to this and you want to sponsor us, please do. All right, absolutely. Wherever you're watching it at, there should be a link to our podcast website or whatnot. We're also on YouTube, and you can message us there, right? Or if you want to, you can even email us, right, at riceandbeans907 at gmail.com. And 907 is the Alaska area code, if you didn't know. 907. Yep. Absolutely. So, random question generator, and we're out. So, looks like it says toilet paper over or under. And
over or under what?
The thing is, I don't actually care. You know what I mean? Like, people argue.
Oh, the roll? Okay,
yeah. People are like, over or under? And it's like toilet paper companies try to, like, push that in their commercials, like, as, like, some kind of, like, I don't know. But the point is, I don't care. It really doesn't. Really? It doesn't matter. Even this. I'm a bit OCD, but that doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean?
Okay, I always have it where it's coming over and down. Like I pull it down.
Yeah.
I don't pull the toilet paper up. I pull it down. Like when I go to get it, my arm naturally pulls in a downward motion.
Yeah.
Like, and it just feels weird pulling it up like that because I don't know.
I don't think you ever have to pull it up, right? Either like regardless of what side it's at, you have to pull it down in order to tear it, right?
I think you tear it kind of like at an angle or coming horizontal. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do a different question because...
But here's the thing. When I was a kid, I would take it off of the thing, and I would do it like around my hand. All right, do another one.
Okay. What just around the corner tech are you eager to get your hands on? Okay, let's go. All right. Technology. Is there something coming out in the near future that you're just like, oh, I can't wait till this thing comes out, and I'll buy it and stuff? I got a couple, honestly. Yeah.
I know something that could cure cancer, that's for sure. Medical technology.
Yeah, definitely medical technology. Man.
I really don't care.
Okay.
I'm like, this is like the toilet paper question for me.
Well, I'd say electric cars. Like, they already have electric cars, but, like, supposedly they're coming out with these new batteries that are supposed to, like, because right now they go between, like, 280 miles or 300 miles per charge. These could take it up to 1,000 miles per charge.
Okay.
And that would literally revolutionize everything when it comes to electronics and how long does it last. And maybe our phones could last more than 4 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But specifically with cars, I think that 100% changes everything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, let's do one more.
I don't know what goes into making a battery. I always hear these evil things about, like companies are like destroying the earth, mining the earth, and slaving out Africans.
Yeah,
and
I'll be honest, things are never as it seems. All that could be true, but like, I remember when I was a kid, right? They tried to push the whole save the earth agenda.
They're still doing it.
Yeah, they still are doing it. And I call it an agenda because that's exactly what it is. Like, you find out later in life that, like, these companies are actually cutting down forests and stuff. They plant, like, 2 or 3 trees for every tree they cut down because that's their business. That's their livelihood. They're not gonna in a couple of years just run out. You know what I mean? They're like, well, I want to make a lot of money forever. So then they actually plant more trees than the actual, like, tree people do, right? Wow. At the end of the day, right? So I think that's a little stupid about, like, how evil they are and, like, save the animals. There are billions of animals, my dude. Like, come on. Or, like, do you try to save every single ant that's in your house? Do you try to save the mosquito that's sucking your blood? It's like, do you actually care about saving the animals?
No, there are specific animals that are, like becoming extinct.
Like endangered stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
like, there's no longer a lot of animals, like, every year. Like, it's kind of wild, but here's the thing. It's been that way even before people were caring about animals.
That's true.
You know, animals going extinct, like they
would just die out.
They would just die out.
And I swear, it seems like new species are popping up. Like, it just seems that way, doesn't it? Like, next thing you know, you look and you're like, that's a freaky looking animal. Like, when did that thing come around?
Well, I mean, and here's the thing. Like, humans haven't researched the fullness of the rainforest, or even gone to the depths of the ocean, right?
Oh yeah,
there's so many places. The ocean. So many places humans have not gone and discovered. There's so much stuff going on, man. We're still learning about the things of the earth. Yeah. And here's what's crazy part. A lot of that stuff that we're still learning has always been in the Bible.
Oh, of course.
It's wild.
It's just true, man. It's just true. Yeah, but yeah, man, back to like propaganda and stuff. Yeah, there was like as a kid, they made us watch this video called Hoots. It's about like these edgy teenagers who care about the environment. And they're so woke and they just know things, and they're just like so with it. You know what I mean? And then like the greedy, evil man wants to, like, you know, kill the spotted owl, and it was all about saving the spotted owl through deceptive means and not through legal means and stuff like that. And then as a kid,
they're like animal rights vigilantes.
Yeah, pretty much. And then they would do illegal stuff, and then it's just like. And then at the end, they win, and it's just like, as a kid, like, you know, influential kid, I'm just like, we gotta save the spotted owl. This is my mission in life. I found out why I'm put on this earth for. I will save you, owls, right? Yeah. And it was just, it's 100% propaganda, man. And it's a bit disgusting, and like, as an adult, I'm looking back at it, and it's just like, these kids, man, like that. These videos are teaching these kids how to be like, I don't even know what the word for it is.
Well,
be fools.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you
fool.
this.
I mean,
people do need to take care of animals because the Bible says that.
It does.
And also, if you start taking out a species in a certain biosphere, it could destroy that whole area.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll start coming down, and then next thing you know, it's a wasteland.
That's true. I don't want to make it seem like I want these animals to die or anything. What I'm really getting at is just like how schools will use it is a good cause to save an animal, an endangered species, right?
Or just be cautious of what you're doing in a certain area that's going to kill out.
That's really it. They're just like, I know, man. Like, I don't think it's evil to cut down trees because you need to build a house or you need paper, especially if you plant 3 more trees.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I was just thinking, like, with the batteries, they're making these batteries.
Oh.
And I don't know what is all going into making these batteries.
Yeah.
I hear these things.
Yeah, maybe it's true.
And then I hear, like, also the battery people are like, we got to get rid of oil. But then it's like, you need all this oil to make the batteries, like to run the facilities.
Yeah, the question is, when does the battery making stop? Because then it seems like it would be in a similar problem. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I feel like it might, if we just go all battery, it might be better than oil, but we'd still be digging up or / destroying the earth for it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's energy. Something's got to explode. Something has to burn. Something had to release that energy. There has to be something to release that energy. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think maybe solar power is the best way to go, but I don't know. There's wind, solar power, and water. And I guess magnetic windmills or something.
Yeah, and water is phenomenal. I don't understand why people don't go crazy with like water windmills and water wheels and stuff like that, because it's never going to stop. The river's never going to stop flowing, and it will just keep churning out power. And I don't see why don't you have one like every 12 feet if you can. Right. Honestly, line the whole thing up. You could power a whole city without any fossil fuels. You need fossil fuels to make the stuff, but after that, I mean, you're good.
There's got to be a way where they got sprockets and all this stuff, and this small amount of energy moves this wheel and that big wheel, and then it's generating this gyro that's powering this generator.
Yeah, and and supposedly these wheels could actually do pretty good. Like, I looked at smaller ones, and there's one that it's not even that big, right? Like, I didn't know what to compare it to, but it's not even that big. And it could power up to 6 houses, like average households, a water wheel. And I'm like, that's really good. And that's just one. It's like a water turbine, and it's not. Yeah, and it's you could literally just stack those things. We have a river running through this town. I'm not saying stick it out in the open, but somewhere down the river. Yeah. And they even have underwater ones for those icy places, you know?
Yep.
So
the river keeps running even in the winter.
It keeps running.
It doesn't freeze all the way through.
I think the thing that bothers me about these activists, right, about energy activists is when water is presented, supposedly they're not into it. They're like, well, it'll hurt the fish, or they'll say this or they'll say that, but it's truly water is easily the best solution ever, because the sun doesn't always shine, the wind doesn't always go, but gravity will always make that water move. Yeah. So it's honestly, water is the solution for any place that's near a river.
Of course, man.
Yeah.
Of course.
Pretty easily.
Yeah. Our Earth is covered in water. We live on a water planet.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's got to be ways they can do that. I'm not into it, making those things.
Well, I'm into it because I hate the idea that, someone could just cut off my power, and then that's that. And now I'm under their mercy. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
I hate that idea.
Yeah. I've been without power. It's not the worst. Yeah. You light candles and stuff.
Yeah. But, your fridge runs off electricity. Your oven runs off electricity sometimes.
Sometimes. What you do need is, a pump, an electric pump, to pump your water for plumbing and all that.
Yeah, that sucks, too.
That sucks, yeah.
Yeah. 100%. And, just knowing that there's water pumps that are actually made for just households. It could, not water pumps, water things that, you could actually, supply your whole house with this one thing. I think that's amazing.
They need to do it. All right.
Okay, well, yeah, let's wrap this thing up, man.
Yeah, please.
So those were the 2 questions that we went seriously off top. But a technology that you'd want, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I said electric cars with like bomb batteries.
Yeah.
And, okay.
Not batteries that are bombs, but maybe they might be explosive. I don't know.
Hopefully not.
Yeah. Electric car blows up city.
Oh, jeez.
All right, kill it.
All right. So this has been the podcast, and we'll be posting every
week.
Every week. You know what? The goal's Monday. All right.
Yeah.
This will be up on every Monday.
Sounds good.
All right. Hey, stay tuned. We'll see you then. Sponsors, contact us, please. riceandbeans907@gmail.com.
Boom.
All right. And we'll see you next time.
All right. Ciao.